Hello.
Hello, Michael. That's a good start coming back.
Put 50p in your meter, please, mate. You've gone all dark.
I do. My computer was hanging on me. Look, you see, I've been away for a couple of weeks, if you didn't know, and even my computer's obviously not woken up from that 2-week break of me doing everything on the podcast. So, Carl, in answer to your question, yes, we should be. Let me just check because it was all set up for that. But
you're still not there, by the way.
No, who's not there?
You. You're a blank screen. Yeah, that's what I said.
Right, sorry.
Put 50p in the meter, for fuck's sake.
I might have
Come on, Michael. He's had a few weeks off.
So I can see myself.
Well, that's good for you. Well, to be fair, we probably prefer it this way, but I don't think some might. So the Adam Forshaw fantasists will want you back on. So hurry up.
So you still can't see me then?
No. I can hear you crystal clear.
Well, look, you'll have to just make do without having a picture of me then, because I don't know what's going on there. Anyway, so as I'd like to say, people sometimes don't get to see me, but I bloody make sure they can hear me. So evening to you all. It's good to be back. Yes, it's been a nice break. I'll tell more about that later. We've got Carl with us tonight. Evening, Carl. Obviously, you were here on Saturday, but you missed last week's live lounge because of your shift patterns. But how's your past week been?
Yeah, good, mate. Good. Glad to be back in the hot seat again, and roll on tomorrow. Not tomorrow. It's Friday tomorrow. Roll on Saturday, and hopefully we can put some wrongs right. Hopefully have a response after last Saturday. Yeah,
cool. Let me know if you do eventually see me, because I don't know what's going on.
No, we won't. We'll keep you there.
I'll sort something out when I get someone else to give some updates on stuff. Gavin, good to see you too. How's your past week been?
Lovely to not see you, Mike. Yeah, good, thank you. Very busy as ever. I thought the summer was meant to be nice and quiet in my sector. It isn't, so that's good, isn't it? So I'm all good, mate. I'm obviously still feeling a bit teasy from Saturday, and I've amused myself today with watching the Burrator Reservoir fill up slowly with people's piss as they continue to have meltdowns over absolutely nothing. It's lovely. So, God, football's back, and isn't it great?
God, yeah. Well, the reservoirs all over the country could do with topping up at the moment. Maybe Argyle's transfers and a particular player Muradu might help with ours at least today. Luke, good to see you again. And how's things with you?
All right, thanks, Mike. Yeah, good to see you back. Had a good week. It's got better as we got further away from last Saturday. I've gradually got happier. So, looking forward to this weekend now. As Carl said, wrongs and rights, and hopefully get our season going this weekend. But all good.
Good. And we have Liam joining us tonight, who's a Wycombe fan. So we are going to start off in a minute by talking about the game on Saturday. That's what the live lounge is about, that and just catching up on all other news, which we'll come to a little bit later. But Liam, welcome to the show. How's things with yourself?
Yeah, very good. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me on. It's been good, and looking forward, like you guys are, to Saturday and hopefully the first 3 points of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what we're looking forward to as well. You obviously got a draw. We had quite an interesting defeat. I was traveling between. I finished in Animal Kingdom and was heading back to the resort, and I thought I'll pay the £2.50 to listen to it and see how things go. And to be fair, it wasn't pretty. Charlie Price and Aaron Cusack were on the Argyle TV. Aaron Cusack, of course, who's been on the show and will be on more regularly. He was basically just saying it as it was, and the All Things Argyle chat of ours in the WhatsApp group was very interesting, to say the least. I think it's one of those where Aaron said it himself, and I don't disagree. Just write the game off and then see what we can do against you guys on Saturday. I think if it's a disaster on Saturday with against yourselves, then yeah, it's going to be interesting indeed. So, but look, it's no, it is good to be back. You know, obviously my suntan has clearly screwed with my camera, so I don't know why.
Well, by
it's
the
not
looks of it,
working.
you've got a really good tang, so you're very, very dark.
Carl, that's just terrible. Moving on swiftly. I will unplug it in a minute. I was on in the lobby, so I don't know what's happened since we've gone live. But yes, I went to Disney. Fortunate to go to Disney Florida with nieces and nephews, and it was grandparents, and it was absolutely brilliant. I went on all the major rides, leaving the last one to the last day, which was Avatar. But that was incredible. Star Wars, my favorite, and a few others in there. And of course, the old teapot ride, Peter Pan, all that jazz, was also very good. But yeah, a lot of time to relax and try and switch off, even with all the chaos of Argyle. And it was back to work today. So getting back into the swing of things. So apologies if I'm a little bit all over the show tonight, but I want to kick off straight away with saying welcome to you all that have joined us already. A lot of comments going on in the chat, and we'll come to some of those. But let's just see who we've got in. So we had a couple of people in early. Codink, which I haven't seen your name before, but hi always says, Luke Fry Scott, evening to you. Said, hope you're all good. What else we got? Andy's in as well in the chat tonight, so he says evening. Thank you, Andy, for covering as well as host over the last 2 shows while I was off. Charlie Cotterill says hello, got Sheffield Wednesday, Bradford on one phone and the Block 9 on the other. Peter Henwood says, hi guys, sad about Weirdo leaving for 175k. Not great business considering we paid 300k plus for him. We will come to that a little bit later. Agreed, upset on that one. Didn't work out, but cleverly said in the pre-match press conference, 1 out, 1 in. Could be a possibility, although I think we might need more than 175k to bring someone in. My mate Kev Samo's in as well. He said, get on. Welcome back, Mike. Simon Fort as well. Hiya, lady, and good evening. I don't know if he's referring to my lovely princess photo that I thought I'd give to Andy to pit on the show on Saturday.
And that wasn't AI.
No, do I admit that or not? But no, I sent it. It was actually someone else who generated it, and I said to Andy after that poor, shocking performance, I said, pit this on towards the end of the show just to give everybody a bit of a laugh. But I do have photos with Mickey and Minnie and all that lot, because that's what you've got to do when you're out there. Matt Montgomery's in as well, says, welcome back in the hot seat, Mikey. Andy did a great cockpit last week. We'll miss Carl next watch along, and Gavin, well, he is the boss. Is he now? Colonel Ladd says, Ian, good evening all, welcome back, Mike and Carl, Gavin, Luke. Of course, Ian was on as well over the last 2 shows. What else have we got in here? Let me just read a couple out. Stephen Coopler says, evening guys. Stevie Vaughan's in as well. We've also got Spicy Wedges in. Good to see you. Evening all from Spicy Towers. Looking forward to the match against Wycombe, and 3 points, he said, Liam, on the board. Come on, you Greens. What else have we got? Let me just see. We got Larry as well from Plymouth, Massachusetts. Welcome back, gents. How was Florida, Mike? Yeah, it was amazing. Very hot and humid, but you were all suffering with that. Certainly the heat over here as well, weren't you all? So, right, let's get into it. Or Mark's just slipped in at the bottom there. It says, it'll be interesting to see if we can string some passes together playing in orange. Yes, the new kit that was released last week as well. So, I haven't even bothered to catch up with the highlights. I was actually intrigued to see how bad Evans's miss was. But to be fair, let's just move on from that game. I think the less that's spoken about to a degree on that game against Stockport, the better. So we move on to this weekend's game against Wycombe away. And so, yeah, Liam, you've had a better start than us. So, you know, you got a 1-0 draw at Blackpool. You seem to be utilising a 4-2-3-1. It seems to be your formation. You can confirm if that's true or not. You've obviously had a couple of games. Well, you had the game yesterday against Reading, which you lost on penalties. Was it? Yeah, yesterday, last night as well. I don't know how much of the first team were involved in that. But yeah, it's you had a lot of shots hit against against you from Blackpool from the research that I've done. So if Argyle can actually get a ball to their forwards, then maybe we will get at least one shot on target. But yeah, it's one game in. How was your transfer window? What are your thoughts going in, to your season so far?
So I'd say I think we've got in seven players altogether. Michael Duff has said that the transfer window is probably 95% done from our point of view. I think we're trying to probably get another forward in, another striker before the window. One possibly a little bit closer to you guys down the road, maybe. We'll see. So yeah, no, it's been okay. In terms of the Blackpool game specifically, I think there was sort of a 20, 30 minute spell at the beginning of the game where it was a little bit sort of all at sea. There was a couple of refereeing decisions that didn't go our way. There was I think it was a penalty that wasn't given, and a couple of fouls in the build up of play, etc. Oh, hello.
Yes,
there we go.
Get in.
A few sort of silly decisions didn't sort of go our way, and then out of the blue sort of go 1-0 up, and we do that thing of like we did last season where we sit back, invite all the pressure, and then they hit us and score an equaliser. I think it was 82nd minute, something like that. And then we were just like, well, what are we going to do now? And we still sit back at a 1-1, and I'm like, come on, at least try and go for the win. A little bit more than what we were like when we were 1-0 up, and it didn't obviously work out that way and finished 1-1.
Yeah. So, well, look, it's at least you had a better showing than really ourselves. It was just embarrassing. I'm sort of glad I wasn't there to physically watch the game, but at least you got a point to kick off your season. Obviously our games last year were pretty hectic, and we managed to get the bulk of the points out of those two. Also, you obviously ended the season just outside of the playoffs. The season before, you lost in the playoff semi-final. You sort of like touching that sort of chance to try and get up into that championship, but just missing out. So you said obviously you had a number of players out. So 7 players in, 4 players out. From what I can see, I think it's sort of telling me from the stats that you got 14 total, 11 senior, 3 PDP loans as well from that. But yeah, where do you think then your season's gonna sort of pan out? From it's one game. I said that about the Stockport one. You just got to write it off. But sometimes history tells us that it doesn't always happen for us at the start of the season. But where do you think you are going to be this season?
At the minute, as obviously the window isn't finished yet, so there's still a chance for recruitment to happen. And I said, 95% done. I would say possibly 1 or 2 places higher. I'm saying between 8th and 10th. If we get recruitment done, so the final sort of piece of the jigsaw, if you like, get it done, then we may just creep into 7th place.
Okay,
possibly in the last playoff place as well.
Yeah, that striker you were alluding to, we were talking about in the lobby coming in. Luke had picked up on it as well, that you've put a bid in for Wareham of around 1.2, was it you said? But that's been rejected from what you understand.
That's right. Yeah, I believe it is 1.2 million from what I can understand, and it has been rejected through sort of local news reporters from our end. So it's not kind of news that's people aren't aware of. No. It has been reported on.
As you know, same with us, where we've been purported to pit bids in for Wareham. Great striker. Did really well last season. Has got the ability. I'm surprised he's still there. Exeter, as we all know, are struggling financially, so want to hold out to their most valuable asset to get the most out of the deal. But you're thinking with the season's already underway, it's getting close to the end of the window, and they would probably not want to miss out on a deal equally as Wareham would do. I can't see, unless this deal with Whitaker sell-on might happen, I can't see us now even remotely touching any more bids with Wareham, with the appointment of Evans, whether we people like that or not. But Carl, you were talking with Liam during in the lobby about obviously a certain transfer in their summer, Connor Hazard, and also they took on Matt Macy as well from Colchester, a former Argyle player.
Indeed. Yeah, less said about Matt Macy, the better. I mean, when he came to us on loan, was it from Arsenal, I think, originally? He was very, very young. So judging him now might be a bit harsh. He might have improved a little bit. But yeah, I don't think he's a great goalkeeper. I think in a signing in Connor Hazard, they've got a fairly solid League One goalkeeper. But I think we've done good business in getting Murphy Cooper in from QPR. And I think he overall is a better goalkeeper than Hazard from what I've seen so far. His distribution's good, his kicking's good, and for someone quite tiny, he seems to command his box and get around his goal quite well. So yeah, I think we've got a slight upgrade, but it's not to say Hazard's a bad keeper. I think they've got a good signing, and I hope he has an absolute mare on Saturday.
How did you find him, Liam? As he raises his eyebrows at your comment there. How did you find Hazard's first league game, and what was the reaction from yourself and the fan base of that appointment?
Funnily enough, a lot of the reaction from Plymouth fans saying, "Oh, thank goodness, we've got an upgrade with obviously Cooper came in a bit later on, but no, we've definitely got an upgrade on Will Norris, who we had last year, who's joined Salford. Definitely got an upgrade. He's actually doing all of the opposite things that Plymouth fans said that he was doing with you guys. So, which is quite funny, in the Blackpool game specifically, commanding the box, which I was told he doesn't do, communicating well with the defence, which I was told again he doesn't do, being able to play out from the back a little bit, not too much, because we were under pressure quite a lot from the Blackpool front line. Again, he was able to do that. So, I don't know whether they was kind of trying to get my hopes up a little bit or anything like that, but no, I found him okay. I wasn't at the Blackpool game, sadly, but I'm looking forward to sort of meeting him in person on Saturday.
Yeah, I think. Look, it was the timing was probably right with Hazard. He'd done a decent stint with us, and when things aren't going right, people, it just creates a bit of unsettledness. And obviously, the first half of that season for us, was really horrendous. Obviously it picked up and it got better, but. It's a fresh start for him, new club, a new town. He can just feel possibly a bit more relaxed. He may have done some work himself to try and deal with some of his weaknesses that we had. But, we all see it. You'll get players that come and you think, oh, they're a disaster, and why have we signed them? And then they come good. Curtis was a clear standout that joined us last season and almost, pretty much helped change our season around. So, wish him well. But like Carl said, not on Saturday, of course. So, as Carl likes to say, we'll see if Lettuce Hands rears its head at any point during our game. So that was a notable one, and we won't say anything about Matt Macy, Carl. No. So any of your other signings, Steve Cook, you got from QPR, Corley Woodrow, Luton, Silko Thomas. There's a name from Leicester, Emre Teasgale, I can't even pronounce that, and Sam Parker. Any of those that you sort of say are going to be standout potentially in your squad this season?
Well, so Silko Thomas made his debut against Blackpool. Looked really, really good. We obviously had Fred Onyedinma on the right hand side, who was our player of the year last year. Even him and Fred seem to be sort of not exactly the same player, but there's definitely Fred sort of helped him along the way and sort of brought him on a little bit, and you can see that he's really good at taking on a player, being able to put the ball into the corridor of uncertainty they use as I think that is the phrase. There was a few chances where he had some good crosses and things. So he looks like one. Sam Parker, highly rated by Swansea fans, who played right back a few times in Josh Key's absence. So he was sort of earmarked to actually start the season at right back for them, and they were really disappointed he came out on loan. Tezgel again was another one who had played for Crewe in League Two. Actually has scored against us for MK Dons a few years ago. So we're hoping that he can, forget about that goal and score some for us. No, the recruitment's been great. Obviously, our top goal scorer is back as well. So Corley Woodrow back from Luton. I can't wait to see him back in the quarters on Saturday. It'd be really good. No, the recruitment's been great, and if we can get this one more over the line, if it is Wareham, be great. If it isn't, and then we'll see what happens.
Yeah, Luke, I noticed you nodding at Corley Woodrow mentioned there. Do you know much about Corley Woodrow, and how do you think Argyle will be able to Argyle's defence will be able to handle him on Saturday?
He's a decent player, isn't he? I mean, he scores some goals, and it's just the knock of confidence maybe from us a little bit after Saturday. And there's talk of Mitch might be struggling a little bit with an injury, so they may have to change the back centre-half partnerships. So that'll be interesting to see how that goes, really, with whether Plegaswelo comes in with Ross. Be interesting to see what Tom Cleverley does on Saturday. I think Gavin put up a team earlier, which is
we'll share that later.
Yeah, it wasn't dissimilar to the team that was out last week, but one change, and I think he's probably right. I think it gives the opportunity for the players to actually go out and put some wrongs right, really, because it was that bad on Saturday that it's a case of starting again, and you don't become bad players overnight. So, but at the best of times, Wycombe away, not an easy place to go to. So if we can go there and get a result, it'll be a good start, and hopefully, well, not hopefully, it will be a better performance on Saturday, because it can't get any worse. So just hoping we continue the away form from last season and get going, really.
Yeah, well, it was a 1-0 victory last time we went up there, Liam. So 4-2-3-1. I read it out at the start, and I think you nodded at the time. So and it appears that that's what you've sort of put out over these few games of the EFL Trophy Cups, etc. So where do you think you're going to see? You mentioned a couple of players there, and as Andy's pit, no, it's not Fred Dibner, but I looked at that player's name and I was like, how do you pronounce his surname? So just clarify that for us again. How do you pronounce his surname?
Onyedinma.
Onyedinma, there you go. Although, love watching Fred Dibner videos, and when they appear on my Facebook, you can't help but getting drawn into watching him up a chimney. So anyway, back to the plot, because I am still a little bit jet lagged. But yeah, where do you think then? You've mentioned Fred, you mentioned Corley. Where do you feel that you could probably potentially unlock let's just say it's going to be, isn't it, a nervous starting Argyle, I reckon.
Yeah, I'm actually. So I didn't mention this as well. You've also got an ex chairboy in your defence, Alex Hartridge, who didn't have the best of time with us. So it's kind of that flip of the coin where Connor Hazard didn't have a great time with you, is doing okay at the minute. Hartridge didn't have a great time with us and is doing okay for you. So it's that sort of thing. I think we're going to target that sort of area, specifically the Hartridge's position, so the left-hand side of the defence. So looking at trying to get Fred on the ball, getting Woodrow to possibly go man-to-man on Hartridge, leaving a space through the middle, and creating a few overlaps there. So that's sort of what we look to try and do is build on the sides, and then be able to create a space on the inside to put a ball in the box.
Yeah. So, Gavin, I'll come to you now then in terms of, I'm sure you had some choice words sat in your seat in the grandstand on Saturday as well. I said that I feel like Argyle will start nervy. Obviously, we'll come to the press conference comments a little bit later. But yeah, where do you think Argyle can try and deal with that threat that Liam just mentioned, and how can they sort of try and mitigate and get back and get into this game quickly, rather than hopefully they're not nervy, but I just feel that they're going to be nervy to start.
I think it has to stem from midfield.
Which was the big weak point, wasn't it, on Saturday? From what
They
Aaron
played a
was
box
pointing
four, as very articulated by Aaron on Monday with Charlie Price. They played a box four. We were chasing shadows, but what they did really well was invite us onto the press. I know that's not what Wycombe are going to do. They aren't a slicker football team. Sorry, Liam. Stockport, who were probably the best football inside I've seen at Home Park in League One in the last 2 seasons. I thought they were excellent.
Yeah.
We were chasing shadows. So we were outnumbered in midfield until he brought Ibrahim on. And then it got shored up a bit, but you could say then they tired. The midfield battle was the key one here. And they're going to have an extra man because they're playing 4-2-3-1 and we're playing 4-4-2. So we're going to have to box clever. And I'm sure that's been a lot of attention to detail in training this week. I disagree. I don't think they'll start nervy. I think they'll try and get out on the front foot. I think there's too many aggressive characters in that 11 that will say, sod this, we're not starting on the back foot, let's get at them. And if you look at when we played well last year, our first 5-6 minutes, we were excellent. And we started winning games when we scored early. So I think they'll probably flick back to type and just go at it. And why not? You're away from home, silence the crowd, put some crosses in, let's test the big friendly giant and see if he can come out and get his frying pans to him or not. So yeah, the midfield for me is the key. And if we can do what we did last year when we were outnumbered many times in midfield playing a 4-4-2, if we can negate that and get the ball through the thirds on the floor a bit more, then we'll be fine. Last week, because they are dominating midfield, we just started hoofing it long. And we were Obafemi-esque with our chesting from Peppel. It nearly went into Rosette a couple of times off the pecs, which wasn't ideal. And also Evans and Peppel were in different postcodes at times. It was quite laughable. So they need to get closer together to be able to win balls further up the pitch. But the midfield is the key for me.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's fair enough. It was clear. Aaron just kept pointing out on that call in that game that he said Sorinola and Curtis are just too wide. They're not getting the ball. They're not able to do anything, and it was leaving Boateng and Matey, name escapes my head now. Harvey White alone and isolated. And he was saying then during the first half either that Argyle have got to bring Curtis and Sorinola in to narrow it to provide that support, or they've got to use them to stretch Stockport down the wide channels, and it didn't feel like, well, once Ibrahim and Amicinat came on, it definitely perked things up, and at least we tried to make something out of it. But yeah, I'm hoping it's not a nervy start. I just gut instinct sort of just makes me think, Christ, when we don't start well, we struggle to get a bit going. But yeah, an early goal or a couple of early chances, they'll want to test Hazard. We'll see. Liam, as you said, and I will on the watch along, and I'll pick up on it and if it does happen, is how much Hazard does then command his box. Hartridge will equally want to make an impact and not certainly not embarrass himself or make a mistake. So it'll be interesting.
At least Hazard can't keep going down every 5 minutes with this new goalkeeper rule, so we can rule that one out.
Yeah, to be fair. So just quickly on that, how effective was that on Saturday? Because I've not seen...
No keeper went down, so he didn't fake an injury, so we didn't see it in action. But I think it's he got taken off-field player off. Is that right? If the keeper goes down,
fine. So look, coming up to the half hour. So I'm going to just sort of wrap up with Liam now, folks. So Liam, give us any other news of note that we should be conscious of, or anyone that's travelling to the ground, any sort of tips for that, and of course then your score prediction for the game on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, well, at the moment, there's quite a few sort of roadworks and things around the local area because our roads are around our area anyway are just ridiculously poor. So sort of closer you get to the ground, I would say, just be wary of that. Anyone traveling down. We do have a traffic management system in place, so like if you need, particularly if you're like myself and you get dropped off out the front or anything like that, then just make that clear to the guys there. And yeah, that's kind of it. I mean, score prediction wise, I'm going to say 3-1 to us. I'm going to go quite confident. I think first home game. No pressure really after the point. And let's go and get at you guys, especially after the performance you guys had last week. So, there we go.
Yeah, so 3-1. So I'll go round the table first.
Cut the feed.
And so, Carl, I'll start with you. What do you make to Liam's 3-1, and what do you feel your score prediction will be?
I think hopefully Tom's got some home truths into him this week in training, and will come out a bit quicker and a bit more organised and a bit more nous on the ball and try and be more intense, like what we know we're good at. If we do like you said, all the non-negotiables correct, we'll be absolutely fine. I think an early goal would settle the nerves down for us more than Wycombe, especially after the Stockport game. But yeah, our record at Wycombe is kind of up and down, isn't it? We did okay last season up there. Obviously, 1 draw, 1 win, 1 loss. We won't mention about the Wycombe game where it turned sour at the end, but the game we went up to Adams Park and later on in the season we did a lot better. But yeah, I'm more confident. I think I'll take a point already. I think a point away from home is always a good point, and then we're home to Barnsley, hopefully, where we can take more advantage at home again. But we just need to see a more positive performance, get some points on the board, because the longer it goes on, back-to-back losses, then we'll be thinking about, oh God, here we go, like last season. So points on the board, get over last Saturday and climb from there. But yeah, if we can get the 3 points, great, but I wouldn't be too disappointed with a draw.
Well, Gavin will be hoping his Hypnos shares continue to grow. But yeah, it's obviously not. We don't want to see the frustrations. But Gavin, what do you think to the score prediction for you then on Saturday?
10 days ago, I would have said we're not going to concede a goal because I just don't, unless he's on Wareham, I don't think they've got as good attackers as our defence. Mitch went walkies on his own on Saturday, which is very unlike him. And the back four was nowhere near as effective as it was against Exeter or against Bristol City, for that matter. So I'm going to go 2-1 to us. I think we'll concede. I think we'll go 2-0 up and then concede, and then we'll hang on.
Okay. Yeah, there's a few in the chat before I come to Luke. Matt Montgomery's going with a 2-2 draw. What else have we got? Andy just went with a 2-1. I think he just said. Nicky, some Ryan saying it's going to be 1-0 with Evans scoring. I'm going to go 1-1 because I think getting a point and just settling down to get that first point will be key. But obviously, if we win, great. Luke, where's your head at with this one?
Do you want me to be completely honest here? I get kicked off this podcast.
You've already given your very dour Edvetty prediction.
I've gone 2-0 Wycombe, and I know it's negative, but my reasons for that, it's last week wasn't great. We know that, but the fact that we're sticking with 4-4-2, which I understand to a certain extent. However, I don't feel the players we've currently got fit a 4-4-2 wide players. We've got Curtis out wide, who's, let's face it, he's been out of form end of last season into this season. He hasn't started great. But on the other side, we've got either Amaichi, Sorinola, or young Tegan Finn. Amaichi's good in a 4-2-3-1 as a sort of attacking right winger. And then you got Sorinola, for me, isn't attacking enough. So I just struggle to see where we're going to create goals from. And then, of course, you've got Peppel and Evans up top. Well, Peppel for me, he's looked a little bit sluggish. He's looked a bit off it. And Evans, I think, will come good, but he's been thrown straight in the deep end, which is fair enough. He's only played a couple of 3 games. And I just feel, I don't know where the creativity is going to come from. Wycombe at home are going to be buzzing, and I hope I am completely wrong and I eat my words. But I do worry about where we're going to create. And that's why I just think it's a really important 10 days to the end of the windows. I do think we need a couple of players in just to bolster the current squad we got. I think Beidou injury is massive. And I just think the shape of the team at the moment isn't like it could be, which worries me a little bit. So I have gone for a Wycombe win, but I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah, Andy's, and if I read it out wrong, Andy's gone 2-1 to Wycombe as well in the chat. VW Coco's in, evening to you. I did see, just as a quick one, VW, I did see you get Mitchell to do a little shout out to your YouTube channel. I thought that was quite funny. I did notice that on TikTok, I think, the other day. But good to see you in. Yeah, Rambo's Nose is also going, evening to you, a 1-0 to Wycombe. We're a bit thin on first team players. What we'll do is we'll pick up a little bit more on this because I want to get some thoughts as well from obviously what I didn't get to see on Saturday. But yeah, Liam, look, let's appreciate you coming on. Thank you to Andy for connecting you up with us. And yeah, let's see what happens. Whether or not I'll be doing a happy watch along for the first one of the season or not, we'll find out. But yeah, really appreciate your insights and your thoughts coming on. And no doubt we'll see you for the return fixture and that live lounge for that one.
No worries. No, it was really good. No worries. Thank you very much.
Brilliant. Cheers, mate. And yeah, see you. So, we might speak after the game. No, I doubt it. let's see what happens. But anyway, take care and thanks for coming on. Cheers.
All good.
Mate.
No worries. Thank you.
So as Liam heads off, yeah, so interesting to get the thoughts there. Now, for sometimes a lot of people will sort of accuse us of being too happy clappy at times. We always just say things as we feel it is, and more often or not, they tend to align. Not always, but tend to align. But it's good, yeah, Luke. I mean, we've spoken off season as well about getting Luke came in and joined our WhatsApp group. If you want to come in and do that, then drop a DM to myself or Carl or Gavin, and then we'll get you in. We've got a few in there, and I've said this before, said it in the pre-season show. It can go a little bit crazy, but it allows people to connect as a community to get their Argyle fix every day of the week within that group. And it's well behaved most of the time, but no, it's pretty good. So we will have Luke on more regularly with us. But yeah, so you're feeling a little bit frustrated then, Luke. So
yeah,
go on.
Yeah, no, yeah, a little bit frustrated, but I also, you know, like Gav said, bedwetting. I'm not bedwetting at all. It's just from what I've seen, even before Saturday, I was a little bit worried about our shape, and I get the 4-4-2, like I said, like I talked about a minute ago. But the Beidou injury for me was massive because he was looking really sharp in, I think we all agree, in pre-season. And it was very likely that he would have been the starter on that left-hand side. And the game against Bristol City, which I watched, I thought we looked excellent, which gives me hope because we were 4-4-2 then and we knocked the ball around really nicely. I know it's a pre-season friendly, but we're quite capable of doing it. Saturday, best forget it. Obviously, it was a bit of a mess. But again, I do see the players we've got through the injuries, and I thought like Ibrahim, come on, played really well on Saturday for the last sort of 20, 30 minutes. I did Amici. And obviously we went to a 4-2-3-1 at that point, played better. However, Stockport were 3-0 up by then. So they probably had taken their foot off the gas a little bit. So then it becomes, you know, a case of just sitting back and seeing the game out and winning the game comfortably, which they did in the end. So that's that situation. But I just see that the 4-2-3-1 suits us really well because what it does, it gives an opportunity for the two in the midfield in Boateng and White to sort of do what Rules and Boateng done last year. Ibrahim can sit sort of in front, and he's a willing runner. He's something we haven't got in the middle of the park. He's one that can go past strikers, and he's one that enjoys playing that role, and he does it naturally. And then it also allows Amici on the top right, and obviously I would actually go Evans on the top left, I would actually probably take Curtis out because I think he could do with the rest and just a bit of a kick up the butt.
A rest. He's played one game.
Yeah, but it's not just this game. He's been poor in pre-season. He's been poor at the back end of last season. There's an element.
I don't think he's 100% fit, is he?
He doesn't seem fit. I agree, Carl. I don't think he's fit,
yeah.
and he's a brilliant player, and I like him. But I just think I would go with Evans out on the left. I would go Amaechi out on the right, supporting Peppel up top, Ibrahim in the hole, and I would go with Harvey White and. I know it's not going to happen. Harvey White and Boateng, and then your back four of choice, really, depending on injuries, etc. That's what I would do. And I think our shape and we're suited. The players we currently got are more suited to that than a 4-4-2 at the moment. So I think it's square pegs and round holes when it's out wide at the moment. At least on one side of Curtis doesn't play. But that's just my opinion. And Tom Cleverly knows far more than me. And I'm sure they'll play 4-4-2 and be outstanding on Saturday, win 2-0. And I'll be like, there you go. I'm full of rubbish.
Look, and it's good the angle you put on it. And I'll come to Gav in a second to sort of give some, thoughts on that. But obviously, I didn't see much. Like I said, I listened to it. I could have watched it in reality with where I was traveling back from, but I just decided to stick the AirPod on and just listen to it on the Argyle radio TV thing. You just really felt that. Where's this come from? I mean, Aaron said Stockport were absolutely brilliant, and they've done well last season. Over the last couple of seasons, he just felt that they're going to be a problem for other teams in this league, and so don't be sort of too disheartened. He was trying to say to the Argyle fans that it's not like Argyle are going to suddenly play at this every game, but as you heard Liam say they're going to try and use Fred's pace as that wide play on the right to try and cause problems for Hartridge and get Corley and all that lot into the box to try and create some chances. So it's teams are going to look at that first game, and hence his score prediction being what it was it 3-0 or 3-1, shows that they feel like there's a chance to take advantage of a wounded Argyle. But Gavin, you think obviously contrary to Luke, you feel positive. As you said, you don't think we'll start nervy, which is what I feel we might do. So you feel a bit more upbeat for the game.
Just looking at the facts last week, we played against probably the best footballing team in the division. I think if they played like that in the Champ, they would do very well. They wouldn't win it, but they'd probably be top 15, top 16. We also had a 9 who had trained 3 times, played twice, once against Exeter, once on Saturday, and has probably got a bit of a confidence jib because he's missed 2 good chances. Apparently the XG on the header on Saturday was like 0.3 or something. I don't know.
Just on that Evans header, like I said, I haven't seen it.
It's 6 yards out. He's unmarked. It's gone over the defender's head. It's hell of a cross, by the way. And he just doesn't get up and head it down. He heads it. He doesn't get up enough, and he kind of heads it over the bar. But the kicker was Curtis wasn't stood next to him. So if Curtis had shouted and let it go, he was in a much better position because the ball had come down. He could have just stood there and nodded it home. The one against Exeter, I think, is a harder chance inside the box. He balloons over the bar, and I would probably say Talai's missed a handful of those. But when you've got rose-tinted spectacles on, you don't tend to remember those.
No. And especially in a game where we were already dead and buried, it felt like you're just always going to pick up on that, aren't you?
Well, no, that was only at 2-0 down. So if we'd scored
but from the commentary, it was like we were almost resigned to we're going to.
No, I don't think at the pitch. I don't think we were. I think at 3-0 down, we kind of imploded a bit. But at 2-0 down, I think certainly before the half time, kicking towards Devonport second half, I think if we were 2-1, it'd have been a far closer game. But I'm hoping, I don't know this for a fact, but I'm hoping that this week somebody sat Evans down and said, this is how we play 4-4-2, and you have to be connected to Peppel, and you have to be close to him, and you have to take his knockdown, and you have to look to spread the ball wide and do all the good stuff that Esseni and Talai did last year, because he was kind of playing in the hole, and we didn't need him to play in the hole. We needed him to play alongside, because when the ball did go long, Peppel stuck his very expanding chest out as it is now. I think he is Obafemi. Hopefully, he doesn't pick up the same gambling habits.
I was just about to say that.
But if he was closer, there'd have been a chance, because we got ourselves out of trouble last year because we went long to Peppel, who chested it down by beating 2 defenders out the way, laid off to whoever was alongside him, and then we took the play up the pitch. Curtis went one way, Dale went the other, and potentially it was dropped back into the midfield, and we regained the ball then really high up the pitch. We didn't have that because they were. I was joking, but they were in separate postcodes at times. It was ridiculous. So having said all that, I don't think we'll play as badly, nowhere near. To be honest, I think Evans will be told, unless it's a new tactic that we're playing a 1-on-1 and we're playing off each other, in which case you might as well play 4-2-3-1 and I'll concede to Luke wholeheartedly. But if we're playing 4-4-2, you've got to be 4-4-2. You've got to be close together. You've got to win the ball and then move up the pitch, etc., or flick on because Evans has got some pace. And I think that's what will happen. So I'm confident they're going to come out and say, we've got 14, 15, 1,600. How many are going to get through the door on Saturday up there? We need to make a statement early and get the fans on side. So I think they'll go hard and go early, which they did last year a lot. And the 3 or 4 games I went away, the big impact was we pushed and pressed really early. You might think Doncaster when we won 5-0, we were all over them like a rash. Really early up top, and they couldn't play out well enough and conceded. It is nice that we're trying to play press football with the biggest hoofball merchant in goal who can barely pass 5 yards in our league in their nets. That's going to be interesting because he's not going to be able to have time to put his foot on it and side forward, left or right, because we'll know Connor, we'll know his weaknesses really well when he's got the ball at his feet. So I'm hoping that we come out on the front foot, that we're combative in midfield, that Evans and Peppel are really close together and, within 10, 12, 14 yards of each other, they pick the ball up and then we move forward. But I think also we're going to have a lot more of the ball this week than we did last week. 36 or 37% possession last week. It's probably going to be 55, 60 this week, I would imagine. So we have to do more with it, in which place that should then play into Harvey White's hands, who basically hooked the ball on. He looked really average on Saturday, having played really well the week before and the Monday against Exeter. He was just hooking it on for hooking it on's sake, and that's just not what we do when we're playing well. So that's for me the 2 key areas: midfield and then the 2 strikers being connected and together much better. Wide, we've only got if Amici plays, I think we're okay. But I think I said this on the pod last week. It's really frustrating, isn't it? Because one starts, doesn't do well. One comes on with loads of energy and everyone goes, that's it. He needs to start next week. And then he starts and he doesn't have much energy. And they bring someone else on who will prove a point. And we're just flip-flopping between 2 players because none of them can keep the shirt. And that for me is the most frustrating part. And very quickly, I listened to the press conference today. And TC again was like, "Oh well, don't forget Amici because he made an impact to come on," which makes me think, guess what? Who's back in the starting lineup? It's like flip a coin. Serenola, Amici.
Well, you segue me nicely before I go to Carl for some more thoughts to the press conference comments, but and I'll read out some of the thoughts in the chat as well. I think this is the killer where the team have to start well, to then have everybody working correctly to that 4-4-2 to start well, to then, if Amici does come in for Sorinola to start the game, then if we start well, then likelihood is Amici will come into the game and be effective, but like you say, if we have a nervous start, then Amici could end up just disappearing, and then you're suddenly like, well, which one do you go with? Whereas, when we had that momentum and it turned and we had the team gelling and playing together, then it was a struggle for other players to get into the squad. So we've got to, unless it's through bloody injuries, which keep rearing it their ugly head again, we just got to, see, I hope, as we all do, that we do have a good performance on Saturday. I just feel it's going to be a little bit edgy, but if we can survive a few scares early doors and then get into the game then great. So Carl, before I come to the comments and yourself further on it, so in the presser today, for those of you that are new to the show, welcome. We do read out the press conference clips, that quotes that are put out, just to give you an update on what was said if you haven't seen that. And of course, you can watch the full press conference on Argyle's TV YouTube channel, or if you're a subscription with Argyle TV there, of course. So TC on Stockport, there were clearly things we needed to work on as a group, which we have done. We have had some good quality training time on the pitch, which we hope to see the results of on Saturday. Of course, obviously, we have had a straight 7-day break. I alluded to earlier that Wycombe did play a EFL trophy game against Reading last night, lost on penalties. And also from that, you got to hope then that those points that Gavin noted, and Luke as well, were areas that they did work on in training. On Wycombe, he said it's going to be a very tough test. We saw that in the FA Cup last season. Even the game we won in the league, we had to give everything to win. No doubt it will be the same again on Saturday. On injuries, because it's our favourite topic, of course, at Argyle this past season or two. On injuries, he says Caleb Watts will be back in the squad, so that's good. Jack McKenzie is close. Take that as you will. Should be available to select against Bradford. Owen Esseni, and I saw a couple of comments from people in the chat about him, certainly come up in our WhatsApp group a lot. And Freddie Azaka, probably another week off. Of course, Freddie picking up an injury, was it during that Exeter game when he came in as an effective sub? And he said, we will have to manage Alex Mitchell's loads in the next few weeks. He had a little knee tendon flare-up. Don't be surprised that if Tuesday or Saturday his minutes are managed. He also went on to say on transfers, I'm happy with the squad. We've heard that a lot. It was also noted in the forum last week as well. Still trying to improve it and add one more number. Well, of course, we almost now know that Wiredu is gone. We'll come on to that in a minute. TC on learning from the defeat, he said we've got enough character to not let it affect us in a negative way, but to learn from it and let it affect us in a positive way. And as it says at the bottom, the full press conference will be available to watch on Argyle TV later today, and I think it is on the YouTube channel as well. Malachi Boateng, for those that enjoy me saying it that way, although we seem to have lost. Why we lost Luke in this view? I don't know why. Luke will get you back in a minute. He says on Malachi says on Stockport, I think it's on us as a team to be better. Ultimately, I felt like we just came up a bit short, a bit more than a bit short. On Wycombe, he said we played them a few times last season. We know what they're about. A tough test, but we are looking forward to it. I'm one of the longest serving players now. That's mad, isn't it? I feel comfortable and settled here. The next challenge is trying to get promotion and the playoffs. And on the Green Army, he said, they really help us get through the games. Their support means a lot to us. We know how much, I don't know what it says, Gavin's line up there, but we know how much the club means to them. Right, let me switch back to this view. I'll just quickly scan some of the comments, Carl. Let me just go back a little bit. Where we got here. So it's no fun getting in and out of Wycombe, and I'm not expecting anything. That Stockport performance was alarming. As Liam said, there is roadworks and they're not the best at managing those. So make sure you plan ahead if you are going up. What else have we got here?
Can't be any worse than
you talk a lot of sense, Luke. It's all right, Marky will chuck you that 20 quid later on. And then I've read out Rambo's nose. Matthew Montgomery, boo-boo, throw veg at Luke, boo-boo. And we've got what we got. Although Luke does talk a lot of sense in his chats, so does Stevie Vaughan. Stevie Vaughan, and he's in tonight, and I've got some comments coming up. He is the master at the most complex statistical, analytical AI infographics you've ever seen. But he does provide some brilliant insights.
Which are read by a microscope.
The what? Sorry?
So they're read via a microscope.
Yeah, well, they put yours to shame, Carl. Let's say that. What we got here, Fearless Senny, I said about this, but a few people mentioning a Senny as well in a WhatsApp group. Matt's one of them, but Fearless Senny is a huge miss. His pace and touch is an asset we don't have elsewhere on the pitch. It will be good to see him get back into it. Mark says it's about realism, and yes, Bader was a massive miss. How do we improve apart from obviously bringing back King Edwards and starting with Amici? Not sorry. What's Edwards' situation update? Unless I've missed that.
He's on the bench.
Right, fine. Okay,
He's fit. He's been training.
Cool. Agreed totally with Luke. Curtis has fizzled out in the last 5 games from last season and hasn't regained it, but he did go for that operation that we all saw on socials in the off season. So whether or not he's just not got his confidence quite back yet on that leg, but we hope he does because he was so effective. Ian says, I would say we will sneak a 2-1 win, 94th minute winner. Tom Chad will say, where's Grumpy Loyal? He's my fave. He's below you in the chat. He will be back, so don't you worry.
I didn't know Andy had 2 profiles. Yeah.
Is it? Oh, I love it. Yeah, that's my game. So, anyway. Stevie Vaughan says, the balance is all out of sync, and Bader was key to how we play in a 4-4-2 formation. Bader with that free role coming in from the left, so we should adapt to plan B. But what is plan B? What else we got? To read some others. Rambo's no saying, going back to the Stockport game, TC underestimated them more than once. He indicated they were new to each other like we were last August. That filtered through to the team. Interesting thoughts there. Nikki saying, I felt like Evans needs to be up top, not in defence as much. I think, as Gavin said, and hopefully they worked on that, it's getting him to understand how to play to our 4-4-2. The fact that he was given that number 9 shirt is equally a lot of pressure. Obviously, his post-match, he said he's happy to take that on board. And unless something miraculously happens, maybe with a Whittaker sell-on fee, I think the likelihood of us getting anyone better is slim. So let's support the lad and hope that he can work that out. Look, Carl, I'll come to you now. There's a few more comments in there, but I'll come back to them. And yes, Noah, I did see your comment earlier. I did have a nice holiday. Thank you. I've got Sophie sat next to me, who's joined me as well. And she had lots of fun meeting all the Disney characters. Carl, give us a bit more of your thoughts then on where you think Argyle can get something out of this game and turn it around.
I kind of get the other guys' opinions on the flip-flopping about when we start with, say, Amici, and then he has a poor game, then we start with Saranola, then he has a poor game, then Amici comes back in. I kind of get all that. So there's no solidity at the moment. I suppose we're only a couple of games in anyway, so maybe he's just still trying to find his best 11. And we haven't really got many options to flip-flop from. It's only one or the other, isn't it, until we bring in another wide player. And it's Finn's back fit now. Obviously, he scored against Leicester under 21s during the week. Got some good game time. I think Tom said in the press conference he should be hopefully available to start against Coventry next week, which will be nice to see him back on the pitch again. And that's probably going to be perfect time for Edwards to get some minutes. Probably Ibrahim to get some more minutes. And maybe ease Mitchell back in. So I think Pleggy will probably get the shirt on Saturday. I don't think it's wise to start with Mitch and risking him potentially maybe being out even longer. So I think Pleggy looked a lot fitter when he came on against Stockport.
Was Mitch run a bit ragged, Carl? Someone was
saying
he
just looked well off it. His positional sense was all over the place. His passing wasn't there. He just looked slow, sluggish, and
he did really un-Mitch type things. Like the second goal, he's kind of got the ball. No one's made space to pass him to, so he's decided to flick it between 2 legs and try and run through 2 defenders. Overhit it, lost it, and then they go down the other end and score. So that's not Mitch at all, is it?
No.
And I tell you what, it was when I was listening to the commentary on that. I've never ever heard this before, and Charlie Price was going, sort of Stockport on the break. I know it's 3 on none, and I'm like, 3 on none? How on earth is it 3 on none? And I just thought, oh my god, this isn't going to end well. So go on, Carl.
I mean, it obviously just wasn't him having a poor game at the back. Just positionally, I think the whole defence were just off it. We just had a complete and utter off day. It wasn't solely down to Mitch, but he played a big part in both of their goals. obviously Murphy Cooper really the only player coming out of any credit in that game, which probably speaks volumes in itself. But yeah, as for the Wycombe lineup, which we're coming to in a minute, I think like all of us have said, Evans needs to stick more uptight with Peppel, because Peppel is just becoming isolated, frustrated, and is not really getting any service up there on his own. He got completely bullied against the Stockport defenders. And like Luke said, maybe potentially moving Evans out wide may be a better option if he wants to go roaming a bit more. He can maybe got more freedom on the left side to do that, to get up and down the pitch. But you could see he was absolutely knackered midway through the second half when he got pulled off. He just looked completely tired, which is understandable if you're going to be up and down. His work rate is always going to be there, but he just needs to stick up front and help Peppel, which I'm sure hopefully Tom has told him. Hopefully we'll see the benefits of that on Saturday. I'm sure he'll come good. It's just taken him a little bit longer. We had the same with Aseni early on in the season. Peppel had a poor start. Wiredu had a poor start. Obviously, we know why Wiredu had a poor start, because he was asked to play at centre back. But sometimes players take a lot more time to find their bed and get a bit of form. White's in the same situation. He hasn't really started the season that well. I know Gav said he had a good game against Bristol City, but that's pre-season. But obviously, he's shown he's capable of doing that. Obviously, his corners were pretty decent, so we miss his technical ability from corners and free kicks if we did drop him this early. But I don't think that will happen.
Well, what was I caught bits of it in the commentary, but Harvey's White set pieces, which were he was meant to be one of his strengths, if I've got that right from what I've seen, and yet when he had some of those, I think there was one where him and Curtis were stepping up for it. I think it was in the first half, but forgive me if not. And Charlie or Adam were like, "Oh, he struck it, hit the wall, and it came back." And both him and Curtis both went to try and strike the rebound, and it's just like, "Oh God!"
It's just communication. There was no communication across the whole team on Saturday. That's probably why. But he does look like he's got a decent foot on him from set pieces. Obviously, we'll see that obviously progress over the season. And hopefully he'll be that person that we've lacked from corners and free kicks. But no, I don't think Tom will do anything too rash on Saturday. Obviously, we'll see the teams in a minute, but I think we're agreed on most of the changes that we need to make. Hopefully, I would like to see Ibrahim get a start, because I think he was the only one that showed a bit of promise and a bit of attacking threat. And I wouldn't be totally surprised if Tom throws a curveball in and just starts Watts, because obviously he's probably been training all week and he seems to quite like Watts. So I wouldn't be surprised if he gave him a start from the off. But no, at least we've got some better options off the bench potentially on Saturday with Watts back, potentially Finn on the bench as well. So
well, Finn scored in the week as well, didn't he? I remember you pitting that in
we
the
should
chat.
have a few more options to call upon it if needed. So we'll see.
So what? Obviously, I'll come to this quickly, then segue back to Matt's comment just now. But obviously, you put this out on the socials just not long before the show. Carl just slapped it on in here. But obviously, it's almost a done deal from what we understand now. He's having his medical, and the rumor is that Wiredu is going for 175k. We paid something in the region of 300k plus for him. So why do you think Wiredu that this offer with Salford suddenly come in and then Wiredu wants to go? It's the league below. Yes, they're trying to be another Wrexham. They've got Gavin and I were talking briefly about it as well. They're sort of got the money men and all that lot in there, a bit like like I said with Wrexham with Beckham back in, all that sort of stuff. But yeah, was this probably the most surprising transfer? Luke, I'll come to you. Do you think this is the most surprising transfer? Or not a surprise? Then you're shaking your head.
No, not really. It was a surprise in the sense that it come out of nowhere. But when you actually think about it logically, I think Wiredu is one of the most unluckiest footballers at Argyle, because there's injuries all around him in all the positions. Yet the one position that he would get in the team instead of is Boateng, who I think was last injured when he was about 8 years old at school.
Yeah.
And I honestly do think if Boateng had got injured at some point last season and was out for 4 or 5 weeks, and Wiredu had actually stepped into that position, it could be Boateng where we are right now, because I think Wiredu would have kept his place. He's that good a player in the middle of midfield, in my opinion. He had a nightmare start. He was put as centre half at the beginning of last season. He had all that grief, but I think since he came into midfield, he's done very well. but he's 26 years old. He spent most of last season on the bench. The likelihood with Harvey White coming in and playing a 4-4-2 is that he would have spent the majority of this season on the bench as well. Turns 27 in November. He just wants to play football, and then he gets the class 92 Salford, an ambitious side, albeit a league below. Basically asked him to come, step straight into that side and, you know, be in Manchester and just play football. So when you look at it like that, I kind of totally understand it. You know, I think it's good for him, really.
Yeah, hopefully that gives people a bit of context to the reasons.
Also, just thinking about it, he's going to be, I think, in the top 7, 8, 9 earners in the club. He was bought in his prime. He was skipper of Fleetwood. He was bought, I think, to be first choice midfielder. And I think he didn't get there because we had injuries at the back and he had to play centre half, and then it all just cascaded. But sliding doors moment, he starts in centre mid instead of Boateng, and Boateng's the one leaving now. If I'll be honest,
Absolutely.
So, you know, that's the luck or not luck of football, I suppose.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't surprise me if he was on £6,000-7,000 a week. So if that's the case and we're getting 150, 200, 250 for him, you can bring in 2 players on that budget in this league.
And that's a good point, a really good point, Gav, as well, because realistically, I know people are going to say you take Wider out of this midfield and you've only got one central defensive midfielder, which technically you're right, but we are screaming for a winger and probably another striker more so than the middle midfielder, because we have got obviously Boateng, White, we've got Ibrahim that can play in there, we've got Caleb Roberts, you know, a push compared to middle of midfield, so we have got options and there is a loan market, so maybe they're thinking that Waidu gets a lot of money off the wage structure of Argyle, allows them to bring 1 or 2 in more important positions, you know. And I am sure that Tom Cleverley and Derek Adams have been waiting, you know, they've had contingency plans in the last week, 10 days. They're not going to be, you know, this isn't going to be a surprise to them. I bet they know exactly what they're doing. And that's where Gavin mentioned the bedwetting, and I can be a bit frustrated at times, but you can't really judge it until the end of the window.
But you can't blame the club for letting Wiredu to go. I'm sure.
No.
100%.
I don't think anyone can.
Decision from him, isn't it? To get
look, to use a chairmanism, like the fickleness of this fan base. So not all of them, probably not even the majority of them, not even the minority of them, but a small, loud contingent who are like, well, I saw one earlier, it was fantastic. I nearly responded, but I didn't. It was rats off a sinking ship. Yeah. Okay. TC's now going to resign because we've lost Wiredu. As if he didn't have a say in it, and was told, "No, we're taking him away." And you're like, "Please don't." No, he's gone. And then the third one on the back of that, of this little beautiful positivity of trifecta, was, "Well, that's us relegated." And you're like, "You're fucking ripping yourselves." Sorry. Yeah. To quote a certain chairman of a different league, right? Get out your grand's basement, stop wanking, and get a job.
Sophie didn't listen to that. Sat next to me, but yeah, Gavin was telling me.
That's what Mickey Mouse told her when he was halfway around.
I think, and you know, sort of picking up on Andy made the comment. I didn't want to bring it up because, God, we don't want to jinx it now after what Luke said. But it'd be typical now. Basically, he was saying that Boateng goes and picks up an injury. But I think, and the other point on the fee, I mean, Steve's made a good point as well. You know, could it be that rules could come back in? Forget mate his name now, but the 2 of them that came in last season, Kane, thank you. You know, and they've gone completely dark. You know, from rumours and stuff, but. Yeah, I think it all makes sense with the Wiredu thing. And in terms of the shocking fee, you know, it just goes back to, you know, point Simon made, and I always bring it back up, but on the episode he did with Pilgrim's Pod last year. And that is it was the same with Miron. When someone wants to go and they are absolutely indicating that they want to go, then you are really in a very difficult situation, you know. Contracts, you know, what are they worth these days? You know, you keep hold of a player, he's unhappy, then you just say we'll keep him and use him as a when we need to, but then is he going to want to come out and give his all if you treat him like that? It's but you know, it's it works both ways. So you don't want to obviously make too big a loss on it, but as Gavin has pointed out, his wages will certainly help free that up. We know we're covering an extortionate amount for Beidou still from his original deal. So everything helps. And the club in that forum, from what I listened to from the chat or saw in the chat and what was put online, again, thank you to Ian for feeding Carl with that last week to get those out. You almost like we've got to balance these books, and people really, and I mean it respectfully, have to really understand the precarious situation that the club is in and how that financially has to be managed. You can't, it's too easy just to go, well, where can we raid your wallet again, Simon, or put something in? Will this investment come off? Who knows? And I wish sometimes Simon would say nothing on it because it doesn't help him when he does. But he's a fan. He wants to bring that hope and belief to the fan base that something will be coming. But where Adu goes, we can only thank him for his time. He didn't get the best of receptions when he was having to cover in defence, and we all remember that red card situation as well. But at the end of the day, we thank him for his time. We wish him well at Salford, and as you've all pointed out in the chat and the guys, the window is not done till it's done. With the couple of weeks or so now we've got left. So at the end of the day, let's see what happens. But I
just want to put it out there. If Joe Rawls is sat there now, would you go in and offer him a contract or not?
With Rawls, sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I understand where he's been at with his pre-season, I'll bring up Owen Dale at this point, although we all agree in the chat group now that that's probably a dead and buried one. But you see, yes, in case we follow Aaron, I don't know if Rawls is doing training with anybody or coaching to see it, but he's certainly kept himself razor sharp. And if you'd watched the pre-season show with Aaron, he said how good he's sort of transformed in his weaker areas with his finishing. But it looks like that's not going to happen sadly now, so we move on from that. So with Rawls, I think it's a case of where has he been up to in pre-season, what can he do, how badly did that injury, has it set him back, does he want to then continue as a result of that? So there's all these things to weigh up. I think the one thing that I would like to say I would trust with Derek is Derek isn't going to make a knee-jerk reaction, and he's not just going to go and panic and go, oh, let's get so-and-so in. Could that mean that we have some really difficult challenges if we pick up any more injuries? Yes. But it's simply like when someone's off in work, it's a case of, well, got to deal with it. That still needs to get done. So how do we deal with it and how do we get on and do it? So, look, let's see what happens in the next couple of weeks. We can only hope, as said earlier, that the Whittaker sale, was it to West Ham, is
I think that's gone off the boil now, hasn't it? It's gone all a bit quiet about Whittaker now.
Yeah, well, look,
if
it comes off, great, because it gives us some money. Sorry, Gavin?
I said it's only gone off the boil on X. Who God knows what's going on beyond.
That's if it was during the first instance, because that came from X as well, wasn't it? So
they come from a journalist, to be fair, and you don't know what goes on. In terms of roles,
Omar Barber, was it?
I had a chat with someone in the club saying, "Oh, it'd be great, wouldn't it, if we can get roles?" And they were like, "Well, he'll take 2.5 months to get fit, like he did last time he signed for us. His thighs are made of margarine. Right, if it's freezing cold, but when it gets warm, they'll melt. He'll be out, and can you justify paying £4,000 or £5,000 a week for a player that might spend 20 weeks of the season in the Galloway ward? Probably not, to be honest. You need that type of player. I 100% think we need that type of player. I think we're putting all our eggs in a Harvey White basket, and if he's tired, or if 60, 30, 30, 60, or one Tuesday, one Saturday is imperative. Otherwise, you've got to go to plan B, which was Wiradoo and Boateng together. And then you play a more dynamic box-to-box game, and you don't play through the thirds as much. Could Ibrahim do that? Probably. I don't know. But he'll need to now if we've got rid of Wiradoo, or you need to bring in a ball-playing reserve. And then Ibrahim can do the box-to-box. I don't know. It is quite interesting that they've let it go. There must be another replacement round the corner, or else he's still got 2 years left on his contract. It would have been a polite no, surely, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Look, who knows? I mean, just picking up on your point on rules, Andy T said Kane was reported as still injured, and he also said cannot see rules returning as it will be weeks before he would be fit to play. Also, I haven't obviously noted, I haven't done a slide for it, but don't believe that it's any credibility to this one. But obviously, Peppel supposedly is in Wrexham's optics in their sights for signing as well. So. Not sure on that one.
If that means we can go straight into Wareham, yes, please.
If that supported that, yeah.
They've got a second bid in tonight. They'll have him by the weekend.
Oh, say again?
So Wycombe have put a second bid in tonight. They'll have him by the weekend.
Yeah, just when we had Liam on, someone actually did pit. I don't know who it was, so apologies. Someone did actually note.
He's a Wycombe player and he'll be in for Saturday. Watch. Done.
Yeah.
But to be fair, we made him look very ordinary against Exeter. We can do it again 2 weeks later. It's not a big deal.
So he goes in, he starts Saturday. Luke, your scoreline's probably looking more like a real.
Yeah, I mean
that would just be
I just listen,
typical.
I do. I mean, I keep saying it, but I know he's Exeter, but I just love the player. I just love everything about him. Just when he played against us, I think he got 2 kicks of the ball in 90 minutes. Yeah, but it's not just about that. It's his attitude. Even he was feeding off scraps at Exeter who were struggling, but the guy scored over 20 goals last year in a team that got relegated from League One. Yeah. He's got an arrogance, he's got self-belief, he's got a nastiness, and he's got a shithousery about him, about a striker that instantly, if you're a defender and you're playing against him, and he's playing that day, in the back of your mind, you're thinking, he's going to leave a bit here, do a bit there. He's such a clever player as well, which goes unnoticed sometimes, but he'll win headers for a lad who's only 5'10". He'll come across the centre half last minute and just get in front of them and nod things on. He knows when to chest it, when to lay it off. He's just a really, really good striker, and he's got that talisman sort of thing about him. He's got a Talai feel about him to me. He's got a Ballard feel about him, and that's why I've always felt it would be a low risk transfer, because if we were to get him for 1.5 million, if anyone gets him for 1.5 million, I guarantee you that within 12 months it'll be double that. He's going to go and score. If he goes to Wycombe, he'll score 15, 20 goals for him this season. I don't doubt it. And that's the type of player he is. And you know, I'm a bit gutted that we can't get someone like that. And I know we're never going to replace Talai because he was something absolutely special. But there was something about having that number 9, and that's no disrespect to Will Evans, but having that number 9 talisman is always going to be someone in a League One promotion chasing side that I think you need. I don't think you can share it around everywhere. I think you need that focal point, and I believe he is the person for that. And I don't think Peppel is that player to be able to do that. And Peppel was brilliant. He's been brilliant, but he had Talai next to him. Talai does a lot of underlying work as well, a lot of creativity. And I just feel that, you know, we might, I hope I'm wrong again, might miss that number 9. But he might not come to us anyway, because he might absolutely hate us. So, you know, I just like the profile of player he is. I did like.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, VW Coco just pointing out that, you know, he's only had that one really good season. If you look at his stats, I did pull a player profile off, I'm wearing my merch for it, but off my Vanticue platform. You do see a bit of that, in fairness to Coco on that side. But I think you're right. When you're scoring that many goals in a team that gets relegated, it's scary to think, actually, with the right setup and squad, you know, what could he then do? But equally, it could just go all wrong, because just the way things can pan out. But there could be an element of where he really doesn't want to come here, and he's told his agent he wants to hold out for as long as possible, but has probably said that, you know, they'll all come to an agreement, because I imagine he wants to make sure the club are sorted, because the sale of him could, you know, obviously have a very good impact to their finances.
But he would take it, VW Coco.
Say again?
But he would take it.
Yeah. Well, exactly. I see that comment now. Yeah. So fair play. Right. So
I've just seen it. I've just seen it. Sorry. Yeah, it's Coco. Very good.
Andy also saying Wareham would take the pressure off Evans, who is not a number 9. But I think giving him that shirt just like interesting. That's for sure. Right, let me quickly go to the lineups. So back with the lineups tonight for the game on Saturday. This is Gavin's lineup. I think I've got them the right way around this time. So with the orange, both Carl and Gavin have got their orange on tonight for the new kit for Saturday. So yeah, just talk us through your formation or your lineup, Gavin.
So it didn't take a long time, I'll be honest. You kind of think of probably 2, maybe 3 positions in the team. I think the fundamental here is what I said on Saturday night is you kind of got to let these guys dig themselves out of the mess they've created. I think wholesale changes doesn't say the right thing. I think they need to all be either chomping on the bit. Murphy, for those who are listening and not watching, Murphy Cooper in goal, obviously. Gone for a back 4, left to right of Alex Hartridge, Julio Pleguezuelo, Matthias Ross and Wes Harding at right back. It was very close to Joe coming back for me, but just on the pure fact of the long throw, both sides, and knowing the character of Wes, I want to come back and make things right. I've kept with him. White and Boateng, they pick themselves now, don't they? In the centre of midfield, left hand side of midfield, Ronan Curtis, right hand side, Xavier Michi. I didn't think Saranola did anywhere near enough on Saturday to justify being retained his position. We talked about this flip-flopping earlier, so we won't go over ground again, but I think Amici, he come on, he looked sharp, he scored a goal, which I think, being the confidence player, I know it's from a corner, but it was a good volley strike into the bottom corner. Hopefully that will now push him on a little bit, which would be nice. And then I've gone obviously Peppel and Will Evans up top, and I nearly put them on the lineup as Siamese twins to emphasise that how closely I want them to play next to each other, but I didn't because I thought it'd be pathetic. So that's my team.
Yeah, fair enough. I'll come to yours now, Carl. So a little bit of a different setup for your lineup, but talk us through it.
Gone for more like a plan B option rather than the 4-4-2, because that's what we will need this season. I think some clubs might have watched us from last season and maybe think where they could try and nullify our threat to maybe have more of an impact on the game. So I thought maybe just spice things up with a slightly different formation, which would then allow Ibrahim to come in as your number 10. Obviously, Boateng picks himself, as do the other 3 at the back at the moment. Pleggy obviously coming in for Mitch, who's obviously carrying his knock. I don't think he'd be risked at all from the start. He'd probably get 20 or 30 minutes maybe at the end if Pleggy starts tiring, to build him up for the Barnsley game the following week. I think it'd be too harsh to drop White. He just needs games. He needs minutes to try and bed into the side. And hopefully Evans will stay up front with Peppel in that too to support him. Because if he goes on a wander again, looking for the ball, then it's going to be the same old story up front to try and get the ball to stick to Peppel. So that's what I would potentially go for. But I wouldn't be disappointed with Gavin's lineup either. I think he's right with starting with Amici. I don't think Saranola deserves a start. He seems to be a lot more better coming off the bench, Saranola, for me, when we need a goal or chasing a game or need more defensive options. But I think Amici, again, like White, needs minutes, needs time on the side to try and cement a potential place. He's got a goal in him, we know that, and really decent finish against Stockport. So yeah, until we get more options in, I think Amici needs to start. I know I haven't gone for that in my lineup, but I wouldn't be disappointed if Tom went with Gavin's side.
Yeah, I mean, Luke, any thoughts you would add to those 2 lineups, or anything you would change?
No, I think he'll go with. I think it's more likely to stick with the 4-4-2, Gavin's formation. I think the midfield 4 and the front 2 pick themselves with Amici. Sorry, Nicky, I keep saying it wrong. Amici coming in on the right hand side. The only thing he might do, it'd be interesting to see the back 4, how fit play. I mean, Mitch isn't probably going to start. We know that, or we don't know that, but he's kind of alluded to that. And it's how fit Pleggy is, because there is an option there to bring Hartridge in alongside Ross, put Harding over to left back, and bring Joe Edwards in at right back, so you get a little bit of the leadership as well. That'll be an interesting one. But if Pleggy's fully fit and raring to go, then I'm pretty sure it'll be the 11 that Gav put up. I think it gives.
I thought Saturday Pleggy was at his best because he was up against an absolute lump, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And I didn't think he lost many aerial duels. He read the game really well, and what I loved was he just put his foot on it,
Yeah.
and just
he
went
does.
calm, and then just started proposing really nice forward passes to try and get people into the game. Which is,
Yeah.
when you grow up in Arsenal and Barcelona, I suppose that's probably in your DNA. So he didn't look fit early season, but and last season when he come back, he was okay. But I think he looks back to near his best now, which is why I
absolutely,
included
mate.
him.
Absolutely, and if he is fit like that, then he starts on Saturday. Your team is exactly bang on. The only one is maybe Edwards might come in, but I think Harden will probably start as well because I think Saturday was that bad. It was that bad. Not just the players, everything that could have gone wrong on Saturday went wrong. And even to the point where they're going to Stockport, as good as they were, we were as bad as good as they were, and also they play a lot of football out the back. They're going to get themselves caught out quite a few times this season, but our press was that bad. It was easy for them to get out, and then it was like you said, Mike. It was like 3 against none at one point. It was just a mess. So we're going to get the press right on Saturday. We can wrong our rights. Or right or wrongs even, and hopefully don't go with what I've said 2-0 and we get a good result and we can kick on.
Yeah, I think, and Andy asked the question as well about do we think rules needs to come out and or not. I think sorry, not rules, Curtis. Sorry, I just think if he needs to just work through his little niggle to get his fitness back up and that, then as long as he's not causing a problem, I'd rather stick with him than twist. Hopefully, we can get him back to his best. I did catch actually because I was coming back from a certain place, NASA. I did catch through. To be fair, the bloody internet, their 5G out there is fantastic. Disney's Wi-Fi throughout, fantastic. So I was able to get a bit of a signal on my phone to watch the game through CBS. Even had to use a VPN to say I was in a different place in the States to get that to work. And then for those of you that did catch the American reaction to the goals that I put up, it did give me a bit of a black flag on YouTube, Twitter, on X, and TikTok, I think. So that they had to take it down, sadly. But the American commentary, if you did get to hear it, was hilarious.
Was it awesome?
Say again?
Was it awesome?
Awesome, man! The long balls. But yeah, it's just funny. But yeah, like you said, Gavin, you all three of you to a degree. Sorinola came on, obviously had an impact, and started the game. Didn't have an impact. Amici didn't start well against Exeter. Came on, did well. Fluffed a shot, although I believe from what I could hear from Aaron, but and Charlie. But look. We've just got to try and start well on Saturday, and then I think everybody will sort of feel a little bit more confident in their own game, and hopefully we can go on and get something. Yeah, it's not good if we end up getting another defeat, or big defeat, or just a poor performance, even with a 1-0 loss. So as I alluded to earlier, I will be back doing the watch along for it. So Carl, you're hopefully going to join me for the next one, but it will just be me for this one. So from 2:45 I will be fully operational with my VantaQ graphic system. Some of you that are regular with us would have known I was talking about getting testers on board, which I've had a few, which has been great considering it's not easy to do that in the first place. And I have a Notts County fan who will be running it for the first time as well on Saturday. So I'll equally be interested and nervous about how that goes for him, but excited at the same time for that. So yes, of course, for the kickoff of that game at 3:00. We will then also do our post-match live lounge at 8 that evening as well. So that should be good. A few other bits of news just to sort of pick up on. I did see a snippet of it, but Evergreen and Reward Credit launched. The replacement membership and reward system is now live after the 14th of August delay. I think that came up in the forum, if I recall. Season ticket holders and Evergreen members can earn or spend their credit online in in the Superstore and at club run kiosks. Coventry on the 25th of August is a test event for that. Hopefully I've got that right, gents, from anyone that knows any more. Under 18, Stevenage 0, Argyle 4 on the 19th. That game, Frankie Bond scored twice with Seb Campbell and Tegan Finn, as we noted earlier, also on target. Jamie Lowry praised for the side shape, calm counter-attacking and clean sheet. And Argyle women ticketing confirmed as well. That's raised a few eyebrows. I've noticed on some of the chat on Facebook. But women's season tickets are 50 quid for adults and free for under 14s and evergreen members. And home match tickets will be £5 for adults and free for under 14s as well, with the first game against Wimbledon.
Do you think we're shooting ourselves in the foot with that, Gavin? Speaking from your experience with the ladies' side, not charging maybe a little bit more for the women's games?
No, the budget's far more realistic this year. It's mainly expenses. I don't think there's any salaries per se. It's got, I think, for the money they're paying, it's got quite a useful squad. They've been chucked together about 2-3 weeks ago. So I think Matt's done a fantastic job so far to put that side together. Unfortunately, the last game of the cricket season is Sunday, so I won't be down this week, much of my girls' absolute disdain. That I have to watch me try and waddle around a cricket pitch instead, which will be probably secondary. But I will be at the next home game and those thereafter. From all what I've seen, they're looking really good for being short time together. And obviously, there isn't the quality of last year. And what's really interesting is all of them have gone to rival clubs, and like Pompey have got a completely professional outfit now. Everybody's a pro. They lost 1-0 on Saturday, having coming down. So you just can't write it, because Exeter have picked up a load of Argyle players. They got absolutely thumped on Saturday 4-0 at home. So who knows? But they'll be competitive. I don't think early doors. I said if they don't go down, that's an absolute masterstroke. Now I think they'll finish mid-table comfortably.
Yeah, and just to add to it, for those that recall and wondering, well, what's happened with Heather and that situation? So obviously we had planned to get Heather. Actually, we had planned with Heather to give her own segment during the week on the ladies, and then, as you know from that show we did after the breaking news of that situation that occurred, situation, unfortunately, and we sort of kept speaking about it, and I think we're going to just pan the season out and just let the women's team settle, like Gavin's saying there. Hopefully it'll be more of a mid-table performance this season rather than a concerning relegation, and then once we settle into things in that season, then we'll probably get Heather back on so we can bring some little updates and insights into that for you all. So just checking, obviously some other notes. So under 18s game as well against Leicester City, of which Caleb Roberts was in that squad. He put the side ahead, but the strength and quality of the under 21s cup opener it was from Leicester really showed that in the game, and they came back and won it 3-1.
They had a couple of senior pros in that side as well, Leicester.
Quite possibly with it being under 21s, yeah. So, but yeah, Larry praised the attitude, application, and learning value. Another sort of match for Caleb Roberts, as we said about Seb Campbell and Tegan Finn. One last thing to end on. I'll quickly get this from all of you. Start with you, Carl. Matt put it in the chat earlier about Sharp, and it's been in our WhatsApp group as well. Tegan Finn, we were hoping to see more of, and I still would like to see more of. Where do you think, with this situation with injuries, with the squad numbers or the rumours with are we going to get anyone in? Do you think there's a point at which TC has to look at the youth and say we've got to take more risks there?
Not necessarily with Sharpie. I think he's only 16. I'm not against giving young players a chance. I'm a massive fan of obviously Tegan Finn. And obviously Roberts, I think in time will become a good player. He just needs a decent loan. Same with probably a Saka, but I think at 16 it would be a big ask to, I don't think TC's going to start any games. There's no chance, because the Senni's only 2 weeks away anyway. I wouldn't be against having him on the bench and maybe throwing him on 10 or 15 minutes just to give him that exposure and a bit of experience. Yes, I would like to see it. but it's whether TC thinks he's ready for that. And obviously, if we're going to be bringing in potentially a couple of more, then his chances are going to be a little bit limited. If we're going to have the likes of Tegan Finn or potentially Caleb Roberts on the bench as well, there's not really much space for people like Sharp. But he looks good. He looks very good for his age already, I must say.
Yeah, Gavin, your thoughts on any of the youth?
I would hope that this is Caleb Roberts' breakthrough season. He's a conundrum for me. You chuck him in against Premier League opposition, and he looks like he more than holds his own. He's played well against Leeds. He's played well against Brentford. Blah blah blah. Right, and you think to yourself, "God, this kid's really got it." But for whatever reason, he in the league he hasn't gone on, and I think a bit like Osaka really. And I quite like TC's comments earlier in the press conference about Osaka saying he's bigger, he's stronger. Freddie Osaka,
very posh Osaka.
Oh, sorry, I can talk. Apologies for that. Here, fucking Saka on that. He bet he got bigger and stronger. He is. I'll start again.
But he looked good when he came on against Exeter, and obviously caused the confusion.
He did, and then he got injured 2 days after a slight groin strain. There was a great little dig, I think, from TC about having to learn to look after yourself after a game of football. About Saka, whoever, whatever his name is, saying, and I think that's been aimed at a lot of the young kids, from Tegan Finn when he got injured last year and then played on for 130 minutes post ripping his hamstring off, and about Roberts too. They've got to be more professional, in my opinion, and they're not. From what people have said and seen and done, but Roberts would be the one for me if we're going to get anyone through the door. I think Isaka's there already, and I think if he comes back fit and strong, he will be very much in his plans. But Caleb Roberts would be great because he could do, I think, the Boateng role quite well.
I think I was going to bring that up. I'm not always the best with tactics and players positioning, and I've always said that. But in my head, and when I'd seen him in the games that he had come on over the last couple of seasons, I just felt there's something about him, and with Wiradou going, and with Boateng, yes, he has not had a nosebleed, an injury last nosebleed when he was probably about 8, as Luke was saying, or whatever it was. But there's always that danger that something could happen, or it just doesn't work in a game. You need to change it up, and Roberts could be someone that could then be there to come on to that. Your thoughts on it all, then, Luke?
I think in an ideal world, we would send Tegan, Freddie and Caleb out all on loan to get 30 or 40 games underneath their belt. But as we currently, at this position we're in at the moment with injuries, I don't think any of them can go anywhere at the moment. And I think Tegan and Freddie, probably more Tegan, got to be licking their lips a little bit, thinking about the flip-flopping of Sorinola and Amanichi. There's an opportunity there for Tegan, who, in my opinion, is probably the most talented youngster of them three. It's a bit harsh on the others, but I can see him getting in there and doing all right. But yeah, in an ideal world, I think we'd want them all to go out on loan and do a Randall and get some men's minutes underneath their belts. But let's see what happens over the next 10 days.
Yeah, the big one, I agree with your point on there, is as well, is that if these lads come in, you can't just throw them into a squad that's dying on its arse and expect them to perform miracles. It's not going to help them. I think if they can be there as backups and then prove their worth when they get a chance in a team that's having a good game, then that's where we'll see the best out of them. Yeah, Tegan Finn, absolutely agree. It's just got a deft touch and a brilliant shot at goal, and getting him into the right position to be able to take advantage of that will cause people problems. So Sophia's annoying her dad just before bed. So we are wrapping up now, Sophia. But hello, Sophie is just out of there she is, out of view, but is next to me there. You two are probably overdue a catch up. I did get something cool done, actually. I shared this in the group chat. So there's a Coca-Cola shop in a place called Disney Springs. It's like a massive shopping precinct, and I'm such a massive Coca-Cola fan. So I was like, Ben was moaning that I was spending way too long looking at stuff in there, but that you can actually print your own message on these cans. So it says Crazy Pilgrim Block 9 podcast on that, which was quite cool, and a few other bits that I bought. Nothing around me. R2D2 thing from the little Star Wars setup, which I said earlier. For those that have been and ever done the Star Wars rides, there are many, many good rides, but the whole village or the section they've built about 4 or 5 years ago to Star Wars there is, and I'm not a massive Star Wars fan. I like it, but it is just a Star Wars nerd's heaven. It's just fantastic.
And just to clarify, the kids took you to Disney, didn't they? Not the other way around.
Maybe. Well, you didn't come on the Star Wars rides with me, did you? It was their nephew Daniel that joined me for all the big rides. Tron was amazing on the bikes, short, fast roller coaster, but incredible. The Avatar one again was insane.
Yeah, he's not mentioned it, Voodoo, not once.
No, exactly. An hour and a half for Avatar was the longest from starting the queue.
I thought you were going to say an hour and a half about your holiday. Then sorry.
Can you notice my tan now, as Carl was rude earlier about it? Not much of a tan, but no, fantastic experience. And the last time I went Disney Florida was when I was about 14. Really impressed. And back and raring to go to help kick our season off. So I shall end it on that. But Carl, Gavin, Luke, I don't think there's anything else I've missed other than, of course, don't forget to like, subscribe, and all that jazz where you can. The Patreon QR code where you were happy to contribute to that will always be well received. And like I said, I'll be back Saturday, platform ready to go to hopefully have a positive watch along commentary on the Wycombe game. But other than that, we also thank Liam earlier for joining us, a Wycombe fan. If you missed that, you can obviously go back and rewatch. And to all our podcast listeners as well, thank you for picking back up with us this season. The numbers are looking good as well on there straight away. So other than that, enjoy the rest of your evening. Fingers crossed for Saturday, and